My fiancée thought she was being slick, sending messages to her ex while everyone was toasting our future. Can't wait to see you tonight. She had no idea her texts were mirroring straight to my iPad. I lifted my glass with a smile. A few hours later, she realized the party wasn't celebrating an engagement anymore. It was her send-off. Everything unfolded exactly the way I had decided it would. Around 100 guests filled the backyard of the house I'd bought and rebuilt with my own hands. Waiters in crisp white shirts floated between groups with chilled champagne and bite-sized hors d'oeuvres. A string quartet played soft classical pieces near the pergola, and my fiancée, Megan, was radiant in the middle of it all. She was the star, surrounded by her bridesmaids, letting them admire the massive rock on her finger. From a distance, it looked flawless, pure joy, perfect couple, fairy tale moment. I moved through the crowd like the ideal host, greeting aunts and uncles, topping up drinks, clapping old friends on the back. Inside, I was simply counting minutes. About an hour in, I slipped away, claiming I needed to adjust the playlist. The iPad controlling the outdoor speakers sat on the marble kitchen island. It was also permanently signed into Megan's iMessage, something we'd set KIT up years ago for convenience. Tonight that convenience worked against her. As I approached, the screen woke up. A new notification. The name alone made my stomach tighten. Derek. The ex she'd sworn was ancient history, a closed book, a mistake she never looked back on. I tapped it open. Her outgoing message was right at the top, sent only minutes earlier while she laughed with her friends outside. This is dragging on forever. Hold tight. Still good for tonight? His reply popped in beneath it. 100%. Can't wait to see you tonight. I stood there for a long minute while laughter drifted in through the open doors. It wasn't disbelief I felt. It was recognition. Every late night, with the girls, every hushed phone call, every time she smelled faintly of a cologne I didn't own, everything snapped into focus. A wave of heat rolled through me, sharp and blinding. For a second, I pictured hurling the iPad across the room, storming outside, and dragging her in front of everyone. But that would be sloppy, loud, unsatisfying. This required control. I drew a slow breath, looked out at her through the window. She was tossing her hair, carefree, and walked back outside with the same easy smile I'd worn all evening. I grabbed a whiskey from the bar, found my brother, my best man, and gave him 2 quiet instructions. Locate the catering manager and stand by for fireworks. Update 1. What happened next deserved an Oscar. For the next hour, I worked the guests like a seasoned campaigner. I told Megan's parents how thrilled I was to become part of their family. I complimented her mother's necklace. I let her father lecture me about interest rates while pretending to hang on every word. The same man who'd always treated me like an upstart because I'd built a tech company from nothing instead of inheriting one. Tonight he was all warmth, basking in a party he hadn't paid a cent for. I found Megan beside the fire pit, circled by her giggling squad. I slid an arm around her waist, kissed her temple, told her she was stunning. She gave me a quick, absent smile and immediately turned back to her friends. I was scenery. While she chatted, my plan locked into place. I pulled the catering manager aside, explained the last-minute switch. No more handing out the custom-engraved silver keyrings. Instead, staff were to distribute the box of neon plastic engagement rings I kept in my office as a gag. He blinked twice, saw the envelope I slid him, and nodded. Next, the quartet's first violinist. A folded 100 and a song request. He smirked but agreed. At 9 sharp, with the sky turning violet and the fairy lights flickering on, I stepped onto the small raised deck we used as a stage. I pinged a knife against my champagne flute. The garden fell silent. Megan looked up at me with that proud, proprietary smile women wear when they think a man is about to praise them in public. She wasn't wrong about the public part. Everyone, may I have your attention for just a moment? I began, voice clear, almost warm. I want to thank you all for being here tonight to share this milestone with us. When I asked Megan to marry me, I genuinely believed I understood commitment, building something real, choosing loyalty every single day, handing someone your complete trust. I let the pause stretch, but sometimes you learn that 2 people define those words very differently. For some, commitment is conditional, loyalty is optional, and trust, well, trust is just an opening to be used. A nervous rustle moved through the crowd. Megan's smile wavered. It's strange timing for an epiphany, I know, I went on. But clarity has a way of arriving exactly when you need it. For example, clarity can appear when you notice a text your fiancée sent from her own engagement party to her ex-boyfriend that reads, and I quote, "Can't wait to see you tonight." A collective intake of breath. Someone actually dropped a glass. I held up my phone so the screenshot filled the outdoor projector screen. I'd quietly asked the AV guy to prep. "So let me offer a revised toast," I said, raising my flute higher. "Not to us. To my future. A future without deception, without games, without someone who thinks vows are negotiable. And Megan, I hope your date with Derek lives up to the hype, because this celebration is officially over. The wedding is off. This was your farewell party." I drained the glass. Dead silence for one heartbeat. Then the quartet launched, on perfect cue, into the opening chords of Asterisk and SYNC's Bye Bye Bye. Update 2. Pandemonium was instant and glorious. Megan's mother made a noise like a kettle about to explode. Her father turned the color of an overripe tomato and started barreling toward the deck, roaring about respect and lawsuits. My brother, 6'4", built like a linebacker, calmly planted himself in front of me. "Time to go, sir." My own parents hurried over. My mom looked stricken until I tilted the phone toward her. 30 seconds later, her face hardened into something terrifying. Megan was surrounded by bridesmaids, mascara already streaking, shrieking that I was insane, that I'd hacked her phone, that this was assault, defamation, anything she could grab at. The denials were so frantic they collapsed under their own weight. I walked straight to her. The crowd parted like I was radioactive. "Leave my property, Megan. Now." "This is my engagement party," she screamed. I corrected. "Paid for by me, held at my house, staffed by people on my payroll. Your invitation just expired." Her father tried another charge. My brother plus 3 cousins formed a wall he wasn't getting through. Guests began streaming out, some horrified, some openly thrilled by the drama. At the gate, waiters pressed neon plastic rings into every departing hand. Megan's family lingered longest, gathering purses and wraps while her mother hissed venom about lawyers and ruin. I reminded them, politely, that an engagement ring is a conditional gift. The condition failed, so title reverts to me. I expected it returned by morning or my attorney would reach out. The look on her face when she realized I was legally correct is framed in my memory forever. Cleanup was almost meditative. My real friends and family stayed behind. We stripped fairy lights, boxed leftover filet mignon, turned the yard back into the sanctuary it had always been. Mine again. Next morning my phone looked like a war zone. Hysterical voicemails, threats, bargaining, tears. I deleted everything unheard. At noon a courier arrived. Small velvet box, no note. The diamond sat inside like it had never belonged to her. I spent the following week dismantling the wedding industrial complex I'd funded. Venue, florist, band, photographer, every contract canceled, every deposit eaten. Most expensive insurance policy I've ever bought, and worth every zero. Megan's camp tried the victim narrative, of course. It lasted about 5 minutes. Too many witnesses, too many phones that had photographed the screenshot projected 20 feet wide. A week later, their attorney sent a demand letter claiming emotional distress and public humiliation, requesting low 6 figures, or else. My attorney's reply was 1 page. The screenshot, the guest list, and a gentle suggestion that any lawsuit would require Megan to be deposed under oath about the nature of her relationship with a married Derek. Radio silence ever since. Final update, 8 months later. Megan vanished from our shared circles. Word trickled back through the grapevine. Turns out Derek was married the entire time. His wife learned everything within days. Someone at the party knew someone who knew her. Derek's marriage detonated. He ghosted Megan instantly. Her parents, far from rallying around their daughter, were livid at her for blowing the jackpot. They issued an ultimatum: get a job and pay rent or get out. She now hosts at a chain Italian restaurant downtown. Her father's dealerships took a reputational hit too. Hard to move metal when half the city knows your daughter tried to two-time a guy at her own engagement party. 3 months ago, I was having dinner with friends at that very restaurant. Halfway through appetizers, I glanced up. There she was at the host's stand, hair in a tight bun, black polo with the logo stretched across the chest, name tag slightly crooked. Our eyes locked. Recognition, then pure loathing. She spun and vanished into the back. Moments later, a different hostess materialized, apologizing that our original greeter had fallen suddenly ill. My friends waited until the new girl left, then lost it laughing. My revenge was public, surgical, and complete. I took the night she'd scripted as the pinnacle of her life and rewrote the ending in front of everyone who mattered to her. She didn't just lose a fiancé. She lost the lifestyle, the status, the narrative, the future she thought was guaranteed. She wanted the ring and the fling. She left with neither. I'm seeing someone new now, slowly, carefully, happily. And yes, the iPad sync is off. Some lessons you only need once.